Yes?
Creativity.
Creativity. That's a great one, and I'm going to put that, it's somewhere. I'm going to put it over here. Excellent. And give me a couple more. Yes? Honesty. Billy Joel wrote a song about that, which you guys are all, check it out on iTunes tonight. Does anybody know that lyric that's not 40 years old? You do?
Wait, no, I was going to raise my hand.
Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. Most of them worked at WorldCom.
Is it like team workable? Like,
Team workability.
yeah, that's the word.
It's not, but it's a good answer. We'll just call it teamwork. The ability to work well in groups. Excellent. Yes?
I want people with like positive attitudes.
Oh, thank you. You guys ever see those cheesy successory posters? My favorite cheesy successories poster has like a glass lake. You know, the water's perfectly calm and there's a drip that comes down and it creates this ripple. And it says, attitude is a small thing that makes a big difference. And what I could speak for an hour just on this one thing. I didn't speak about the 80-10-10 rule in the last class. If you have 100 people working for you, 10 of them love you no matter how stupid you are, no matter how bad your leadership is, they will do anything to serve you. 10% are a cancer to your organization. It doesn't matter how brilliant you are. In their eyes, you suck and you always will. And they're going to tell everybody how bad you are. And the fight for leadership, the battleground is over the 80% that can be swayed in either direction. And it's attitude that makes the difference. Those who have a positive attitude infect the group positively. So attitude is huge. What else? We can just take a couple more because we got to have time for some of the other things. Motivation, huge. You guys are very sharp. Let's start a company and you can all work for me. It's a startup, so there won't be any salary involved initially. One more.
Think WorldCom.
Yeah, think WorldCom. Give me an I. Yes, integrity. And so the way I sort of finished this segment up, then I would sort of draw this. No one said integrity at WorldCom, and you know what? I knew a lot of people in the class. The vast majority of everybody I have ever worked with there and everywhere else are good people that have integrity and honesty. The reason why you don't think about it is why. It's sort of like, do you ever go into a car dealership and say, I'd like to buy a car with a steering wheel? No, you don't, because it's, do you go and say, I'd like an ice cream with a cone? I guess that sometimes, that's a bad example. Can we rewind the tape on that? Some things that just seem like they're a given until you work at a place for WorldCom and you find out, oh geez, that would have been important. Should have asked, I should have checked that box. So what I was trying to communicate to them is, and what I firmly believe, the three things I look for, the first and the most important is integrity. Is this a person that I can trust? It's a lot more than just honesty. Will they do the right thing like Cynthia Cooper did, even at personal risk? Will they do the right thing when no one's watching? Will, even something like when they make a mistake, will they admit it? Will they accept personal responsibility for their actions? That's integrity. Second, motivation. Who said motivation? I want somebody that can run through a brick wall for me. I've said, and I'll have to amend it when I get to number 3, even if you're dumb as a box of rocks, if I can trust you and you will work hard, you have value. There's something you can do. You'll be limited by your expertise or your lack of intellect, but boy, I tell you what, people crave for somebody that works hard that you can trust. You ask any small businessman in the country and they'll tell you exactly that. Katie Dunleavy, we haven't mentioned her yet. Does anybody remember Katie from last year? Nobody knows Katie in this class? She's the reason why I'm here, by the way. Her dad runs a landscape business. And I was talking to him this morning and he goes, geez, Mike, these 3 are in the advertisement I just put out for help today. It doesn't matter what line of work you're in. First, if this was the solar system, this is Mercury, the closest to the sun. This is Earth. And expertise, believe it or not, is Pluto. Now, I'm not diminishing the need to be to have people who have knowledge. It's very important, and I'm going to recommend it to each of you on one of these other ones, that you become a subject matter expert in something. Be the best at something in your office. But the worst employee that I could ever have is a person that has some special knowledge that I can't motivate or I can't trust or won't work with other people. It is miserable. And some of the biggest mistakes I've made in business as a leader is not cutting those people out of my organization quickly. Feeling insecure that they have something that I need that I can't. It's almost like cocaine, right? I can't let it go. Well, you know what? I would have been better off to cut those people the instant I figured out that they wouldn't work well with people or that I couldn't trust. So those are the three things. Yes?
What's an example of something like that?
When I was at UUNet, I had a group, I think I mentioned I had 42 employees when I started, and within a year it grew to like 100 or 120. And then we acquired a group of 30 or so in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and then we acquired a group of 100 or so in Columbus, Ohio. How great is that? I'm a Michigan State Spartan, and I have people working for me in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and in Columbus, Ohio. Now, if you know anything about Big Ten football, I only called my dad once to tell him I got a promotion. And it was when those, I know I'm off on a tangent, I have to ask you a question again. The only time I ever called him and said I got a promotion was, Dad, you're never going to believe this. I've got Buckeyes and Wolverines working for me. Anyway, an example. So the group had grown pretty significantly, and I had people who were working, let's say, maybe they were a manager and they had 8 employees. But my group was growing so fast, they were hiring. You get to a place where you have somebody in a position that's probably greater than their capabilities, and you have to make a tough choice. Do I hire somebody to be their boss and put them in between me? Do I give them something that they're really capable of managing and risk losing them? And I had a woman who was very, very good technically at what she did, and she way outgrew her capabilities. And it came to a point where she wasn't a good manager, just from like a team building perspective and leadership abilities, the kinds of things we're talking about today. But in addition to that, she increasingly became somebody I couldn't trust. And she went out and and came to me and said she had an alternate job offer, and kind of put me in a position where I either had to promote her or cut her or let her go and let her get this other job. And I blinked and I gave her that job. And I had to take something from somebody else who worked just as hard for me as she had in order to keep her. Worst mistake I ever made. I didn't think I could get along without her. Remember, we're growing, and I'm like, how can I lose somebody with this skill when next month I'm going to have 5 more of them, let's say, 5 more employees in that group. And it was the worst mistake I made, worst decision business-wise I made while I was there. It ended badly. Well, she was in a position she couldn't succeed in, and ultimately I had to go in and take that position away from her and ultimately lay her off. It wasn't good for her. It wasn't good for me. It wasn't good for the employee that deserved it. It wasn't good for all the employees under her charge, which, by the way, was probably 95 or 100 by the time I was wise enough to take action. So, it's why I have the 3 things, or at least one of them. Who's got the next question? Oh, come get your $1. I don't know, does it buy a soda pop here? Or do you have to have a $1.25? $1.50? Well, here. There you go.
Courtney asked a question.
Oh, where's Courtney? Oh, did I shortchange you? This is like Halloween, so if I forget, just hold out your hand and say trick or treat.
Am I forgetting anybody else that was between?
You deserve $1 or 2 for the dependability. No, you don't, because then I have to pay everybody else. Psych.
No.
You want to drink of my water? No. You can trust me, but notice I got a little bit of a raspy voice, so I'm not sure you can trust what's on here.